What's up, Dallas Fan Festival? Well, of course I have to say this, order of business, of course to remind you that we are still in strike times, and because of that, we cannot take questions from the audience. I have this fun pack of questions here. It's been really fun to kind of have these questions. You get everything else out of the way that we normally ask about, and we get to get a little bit personal and know, get to know our guests a little more than we usually do, because we have to ask about, of course, all the stuff that we want to hear about. But thank y'all for being so understanding and respectful all weekend, and understanding that it's kind of different. And I know it's kind of a bummer to not be able to take questions from the audience and that experience and having it feel like a big conversation. But we're doing the best we can, and it's been fun to kind of like have this set of questions where we get to see everybody's different kind of personalities based on this same set of questions. We have our what has been my first guest host, but I think our first and only guest, correct me if I'm wrong, that is actually from Texas proper. But he of course also comes to us from the galaxy far, far away. Ladies and gentlemen of Dallas Fan Festival, give a huge round of applause for Eman Esfandi! You got your cowboy boots on. Oh, I get too much stuff here. Yeah. Yeah, man. Welcome back to Texas. You've been on a journey this year, an adventure, if you will. What is this year, without getting too specific, what's this year been like for you? I imagine kind of crazy.
Yes, very crazy.
Yeah.
But in the best way. It's been like watching a movie unfold, sort of, but watching from like my living room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not really being able to totally interact in the movie.
Right.
But watching it on a screen and like seeing things get advertised or people react to things, and
Yeah.
just kind of being like, oh my god, and it still doesn't totally feel real.
Totally
It's like
surreal.
I'm watching it.
Yeah.
But it's really nice to be here, so thank you all for coming.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we're so glad to have you. You were born in Laredo. We were talking about, and you grew up in San Antonio, and you were Bronxville's a little bit, Austin. As a kid from Texas, like what first drew you to acting? What made you want to first become an actor?
I actually did not do anything acting growing up. So in Laredo, I don't know. There wasn't like anything that called to me as a kid. I played tennis mostly. I grew up trying to go pro in tennis.
Yeah.
And I'm still working on that. And but once I got to college and I was at UT, they have a film school, and there's a lot of filmmakers, and they have theater programs. There's a lot of actors. And a close friend of mine who I played tennis with for a long time recommended I go to this like acting workshop to meet the people. I was more interested in meeting people who were sort of doing something new and not what they planned to do in life. But then I was at the acting workshop and I was like, I think I can do that. I think that sounds really fun. Like that sounds cool. I volunteered and they're like, hey, we should have you come in for an audition. And then I got a commercial, and commercials do pay well. So I was like, well, that's kind of cool, like maybe, it was funny enough, I was like, maybe I can make some money, which isn't necessarily the way to get into it, because it's not like that, but yeah, so around college is when I fell into it and took it a lot more seriously in Austin.
You're in a good place for it in Austin. Do you have, you mentioned auditions, do you have like a particular kind of memorable audition, either bad or good?
Yeah, I do. The first audition I got for like a real TV show was called, can I say that with the strike?
I don't think you can say the title.
Woo! It was a basketball show based in Austin.
Okay.
And like drama.
Okay.
So drama shot in Austin. And I was going in with a big casting director, and it was my first time getting like a real audition. Still only like a few lines, but I was like, okay, this is it. It's not a commercial. It's a narrative thing. But I just acted like for like 2 months. And I hadn't gotten to the point where you separate yourself from your character. Like what you do as a character is not who you are. It doesn't represent you. But I was so like, I want to play roles that represent me. And the character was like a bigot. Like he was like meant to be in the stands, like being really rude and vulgar and saying ridiculous things. And I just was like, oh, like, but it doesn't totally say that. It just says they're berating the other basketball team. So I come up with all these other like sports ways to rag on a different team that are all like basically PG. And I walk in and I'm doing it, and they go, oh, Eman. This is really good, but just let it rip. And I'm like, let it rip. And they're like, yeah, throw some coins in the curse jar and let it rip. And I'm like, okay, and I start saying a bunch of like mean stuff or whatever, vulgar things, but like barely, like I'm not owning it at all. And then they're like, oh, okay, Eman, thank you so much for coming. Very sweet. And I was just like, oh God, what was that? Like, oh shit.
Like you went too hard with it.
Yeah, so that was a very memorable audition because I talked to an acting coach about it later, and she was like, you're not your character. And I was like, oh yeah.
Oh right.
Oh yeah, acting. Got it.
Oh right, I'm not a horrible bigot. That's right.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm sure you had false starts, and you had auditions like that, and you had things all along the way where you're just like kind of ready to give up. Was there someone that just like kept you going, or something that kept you going?
That's interesting. I had moved to LA from Austin. I did pretty well in Austin in like indie films and commercials and stuff. And I moved to LA, and for 3 years I didn't book anything. It was just like I went to a lot of auditions and had a really like good feedback and had a great team and got great options at roles or chances at roles, but nothing stuck. And I ended up just kind of walking away from acting. I actually was like, okay, this isn't feeding me, this is kind of like making me miserable, and then I got into music. So I make music under an alter ego called Dragon Wolf, and Dragon Wolf with a U, and that music sort of became the same feeling I had with acting initially. It was like the same fire, and then it was just kind of, it made sense. It was like, well, this is how I used to feel about acting, and acting used to make me really happy, so I'm going to follow this music thing. And the music kept me going, and still does. I still make music, until the acting all of a sudden took off. And it was like, well, that time flew by, I was just having fun making music. So I'd probably attribute Dragon Wolf to keeping me going more than anything else.
So just like having some kind of creative endeavor. One of the questions we do get a lot in these is just, Texas has such a, as you well know, has such a great community of artists and actors and filmmakers, writers, directors. I'm sure there's some in the audience. Do you have any like advice, as a young actor yourself to people who aspire to be where you are? Yeah,
to be in the industry? Yes. In Dallas, in Austin, in Houston, in San Antonio, I remember when I was first starting out, there was a email Yahoo list, Dan Egerton's list or something like that. But there's a bunch of lists online of auditions for random short films, indie films, little things. And when I first started, it was like I Googled how to be an actor. Literally Googled it, and like
that's a good start.
It was like, all right, I gotta start here, And it was like, you need a reel, you need a demo reel, you need a resume, you need credits. And I was like, okay, how do you get this, whatever. And you just need to be on sets. Like, you need to get on sets and learn what a set is like and learn the positions and what they do. So I did like 20-something short films in a year as an actor, sometimes as like a really small part, sometimes as the main part in a short. And then I also would like do random crew positions, like I'd be sound, boom mopping, but also like asking tons of questions during, like, hey, what do you do? What do you do? I'm a gaffer. Oh, what's that mean? Like, oh, cool. And so just like do your best to throw yourself into as many of the films around you as you can, and just be helping hand. Say, oh, I don't need, if it's on your free time, I don't need money, I just want to help and learn, and if I can ask questions. And those things tend to add up. People remember that, and people want you to be on their sets next time with a better thing, or they are down to help you. Like, I ended up making a short film for the first time that I directed in Austin, and everybody on that crew were just different directors I had acted for or helped out as a crew member. And I finally like turned around and was like, I think I'm gonna make a movie now. And they were all like, yep, I'm there. Whatever position you need to be on. And that was kind of from doing all that work in in the first place.
So just
getting involved.
Yeah, just get out there and do it.
Yeah.
Just do it and don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
Let's kind of talk about alternatively. If you weren't acting, you mentioned tennis and kind of wanting to do that as a kid. If you weren't acting, what would you be doing? Would it be music, or like, do you have some kind of alternate reality version where if I'm not an actor, I'm doing this?
I think I have a degree in economics, and I think I really loved businesses. And my sister, she's an entrepreneur. She has a business called Fresh Petals here in Dallas. Actually, she's
Is this your sister?
This is my sister right here.
She has a business in Dallas.
Yes, it's called Fresh Petals.
Where
She's
can
a
we-
florist and event arrangements. You're saying where can we find
Yeah,
it?
where can
It's
we
in
find
the
it?
Arts District, correct? Or it's like close. Design District.
Is it just at Fresh Petals?
Fresh.
Fresh.
Presch Petals.
That's fresh.
And our parents, yeah, it's precious, yeah. And our parents were business owners.
Wow.
So I think business is just in my blood, and
Yeah.
so I think I'd probably have like a coffee shop or some sort of retail business.
Yeah.
If I wasn't in the acting business.
Yeah. Love it. That's great. And then what kind of stuff do you, besides music, like what are your hobbies? What do you like to do to unwind in your free time?
I love boxing.
Okay.
I love bouldering, which is like indoor rock climbing, no rope. I really like doing hill sprints. I know it sounds like weird, but I like
These are things you like doing?
I know. I've invited so many people. Like, do you sprint? They're like, what are you talking about?
These are all ways I would like punish myself.
Right. I don't know. Something about the hill sprint feels like, and I always try to find a hill somewhere wherever I am doing it, that at the top of the hill is kind of a cool view. So you like go to the top, you're like, and then you go back down, and then you run up to the top, you're like, wow. It's like you get that same dopamine rush every single time,
Yeah.
and it's always at the end of like, you're like, oh wow, look at this view again, And I don't know, something about that just feels like spiritually powerful.
My dad's gonna be so mad at me because I don't know what the name of it is, but my dad's very into that stuff. And there's these like steps in like Colorado. Do you know they're like very narrow and they go all the way up, and it's like a big thing. Where is it?
Red Rocks.
Is it Red Rocks?
The Red Rocks.
Narrow and
They
it's
have
like,
the amphitheater, right? Red Rocks. Red Rocks Amphitheater.
This is a trail that is literally, I don't think it's Red Rocks, it's literally there
Like
to
a-
start and go up top.
Just stare straight.
Just, yeah.
I'm gonna go do
You
that.
gotta go. Yeah, you gotta
I'm
go.
gonna go do
Oh, I
that.
know.
Get to the top and be like, what are you?
Yeah. And then, you mentioned being a musician. What are like some of your favorite bands to listen to, or maybe influences on your band? I know it's a hard question.
I love so many, and I'm gonna make so many different genres of music.
Yeah.
I'd say like in the genre I'm in, which is right now rap and hip hop. I love J. Cole.
Okay.
I love Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
I grew up on Wayne and Eminem.
Yeah.
And Drake, and there's some new guys like J.I.D., Jid, Smino, Deontay Hitchcock. These guys are incredible.
Yeah.
But then I'm a huge Sinatra fan, Paul Anka fan, Dean Martin fan. Yeah, if anyone likes the oldies. And then I love like indie rock.
Yeah.
Dermot Kennedy and
Yeah.
Mumford and Sons,
Yeah.
things like that. So.
Should do something that combines all three of those very different genres in
City
one.
ones, yeah, with a bunch of beat switches.
Yeah, like crooner hip hop or something.
Yeah. Crooner. Okay, come on now, Jay.
Yeah.
It's crooner hip hop.
What's your favorite like thing to binge watch, or like your guilty pleasure? Like
Anime.
anime?
Anime is so quick. I mean, and I wasn't aware how much of a fan I was of something that I don't necessarily think I can mention.
Right.
That now I can, that I know of. I didn't know how adjacent I was to the fandom.
Oh,
Like
totally.
I love all these other things growing up, and then get involved with something, and everyone I'm working with, they're like, "Yeah, you love that? How could you have not seen this?" And
Yeah.
I'm like, "I guess I don't know. It didn't reach me, but I love everything you guys love.
Yeah.
I love everything the con's about to be.
Yeah.
So anime." Can I say animes that I like?
I think
they're
it's
not like
something you're
anime.
not in. You can. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
animated and
It's
voice
it's
acting,
also
so
a different, yeah.
Yeah, it's different.
I love watching Dragon Ball Z clips.
Okay.
back.
All right.
I watch a lot of Naruto fights back, like on TikTok edits.
Yeah.
I watch a lot of. I've started One Piece. I actually finally got into One Piece, and then I'll watch like the best fight scenes of all animes. Like I'll just like look that up, and I'll watch just like top 10 fights. And sometimes they don't show you the whole fight, which is so frustrating. You gotta go find a single fight. But I'll fall into that hole. Sometimes in the morning, I'm like, I'll just do it for like 10 minutes, and an hour, I'm like, oh shit, I gotta go. But I've just been watching anime fights. I just am obsessed.
It's been so cool to see as conventions have grown, and growing up in a time of like early anime in the 90s, and to see how it is so much its own genre now, and to see how much space it occupies at not only these kinds of conventions, but their own conventions, and like some of the anime releases are just like right up there with major studio releases in terms of how well they do. So
can we make some noise for all this type of fandom that we all have? This is like our stuff, I grew up not telling anybody because people would make fun of me for watching this kind of stuff, but now here we are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At this convention center, and like, you're right.
Yeah.
They're just as big now.
I always think that we got pushed into the lockers for the next generation. Now it's
exactly,
like cool.
dude. We are now here.
Yeah, now it's like cool. Like anime is cool.
So cool.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's been cool.
Yeah. We took the persecution so that you could live freely and love your anime.
Yeah, to the kids of this generation.
Yeah.
No.
And what do you do? Like, you mentioned some of these, so they may be the same, but like, when you are filming, are there specific rituals you have or things that you do to like unwind or relax?
Yeah, actually, so during the pandemic, I did a ton of yoga. Every day, sometimes twice a day, and I got into a lot of breathwork stuff.
Yeah.
And so once I got back into acting, which was like, I was like very specific about what I would be willing to do, it became sort of second nature. Like, okay, if I'm ever gonna walk onto a set, I had to have had like a 45-minute breath work, relaxation, stretching, like movement session first, so that everything in my body is relaxed, my voice is relaxed, and it's just, you just become sort of a clearer channel for like whatever comes at you during the moment, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna let that through. There's nothing blocking you. So that's like a very specific ritual that I do. And then I'm very specific with like the music moods in the morning, in like a trailer or something. I'll light an incense, not champa, and I'll throw some jazz on, and it's just like, it's just like being in the zenest place ever, until they're like, Eman, you ready? I'm like, yes, it's time.
Speaking of one character specifically, that makes a lot of sense. They are very zen, dude.
Yeah.
All right, so who is I'm sure you've gotten to now, whether it's conventions or elsewhere, I'm sure you've gotten to meet a lot of your heroes, but like, who's someone that you still haven't met that you'd love to meet? I'm sure there's a long list.
Yeah, I mean, Roger Federer, who's a tennis
Okay, all right.
Still working on that.
Yeah.
But in this particular world,
Yeah.
Fassbender.
Okay.
I just think he's
getting back into it now. He went away for a little while.
He went away to be a Formula One racer,
yeah.
I think.
And now he's in Taika Waititi's new movie, Next Goal Wins. Yeah.
So him, I just think he's such an amazing actor.
Yeah. Man, we need to work on getting him in the galaxy
somewhere near, somewhere near where I might be. God, that'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that'd be so cool. Him, and then I did a film with well, actually, I'll move along from that one. There's been other news that I don't need to.
We can talk about it.
Yeah. I think I'd love to meet Denzel Washington. I just think he's a legend.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Shout out Denzel. They all love this.
Yeah,
legend.
of course.
And who else would I love to meet? I'd actually love to meet a bunch of the younger guys, like Paul Mescal.
Yeah.
He's just like one of my favorites right now, and it's just cool to see someone being recognized like that for how good they are. And I just want to I want to get in it with them. You know, I want to have a scene where we get to go and really push that envelope.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's great. And this may be a different answer, but who would you want to have dinner with, living or deceased?
I would say someone who is deceased that I can't say.
I think you can say their name.
No.
Oh, you can't?
I can't because they're a part of the show.
All right.
The show's predecessor.
Okay, all right.
But I think I would have dinner with my mother's mother, who I never got to meet.
Aww.
Yeah, my grandmother.
Everyone else has had really selfish, like, famous answers, and you went really sweet and personal with it. That's so nice. Shame on everyone else this weekend.
I watched all their panels, like, I'm gonna do something.
Yeah.
This is gonna be so much better.
Paul Bettany said John Lennon. He said your
Yeah,
mother's
yeah.
mother. Yeah. What are your fall traditions? Do you love, like, are you a fall guy? Or are you into the spooky season?
I'm not necessarily a fall guy. I love it when it gets cold outside.
Yeah.
I like to wear jackets. I think you wear more fashion.
We didn't really grow up in a state that's.
I'm about to say,
it's
like,
fall,
it didn't
yeah.
really change much growing up here.
It's literally like 90 degrees
It's not
outside.
It's warm.
Yeah.
I don't think I just like that fashion changes.
Yeah,
Like it's
totally.
more like layered and,
Yeah.
and you're hanging out like outside at
Yeah.
bars and stuff instead.
Yeah.
I like that air, that cool brisk air.
Yeah.
So yeah, but nothing like in particular. Like it's
Right.
fall, it's time to put the pumpkins up and get my Halloween costume ready.
Yeah, it's okay. I got you covered for both of us. Yeah. Do you have any pets?
I don't have any pets, no.
It's hard to probably be on the road and have a pet.
Yeah, I think I'm not in the place right now in my life to keep a pet.
Yeah. Who was your childhood hero? You have one. Was it a tennis player?
No. I think it was probably like Goku or like
Alright, yeah.
or like Naruto, you know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I was really into him.
No one said they had to be real.
Yeah,
yeah.
one of them.
And before you became an actor, what was like your, I'm sure you had other kind of odd and end jobs. Did you have one that was particularly like embarrassing or bad?
I taught tennis for 9 years, which sounds cool, and it is cool. And it's glamorous for the hour that you see the tennis pro, but behind the scenes, being a tennis pro is not glamorous. And we are doing a lot of the dirty work.
Yeah.
And we're cleaning, like we're sweeping the clays, we're cleaning the trash, we're like literally cleaning bathrooms sometimes.
Yeah.
Or like I was a camp counselor at this tennis camp.
All right. Yeah.
And sometimes kids, they're 8 or 9, they're at camp for the first time, they just randomly pee themselves or something, and it's like,
It happens.
you're his counselor, dude.
Yeah.
No one else to do it but
Yeah.
you gotta help this kid. You're like, dang, dude, this is part of the job?
Yeah.
I gotta go to school, I'm 18, I don't know what to do. Or kids are also rowdy. Kids can be crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember I was 17 once at an academy, tennis academy, and they were like, Eman, we need a counselor. I'm not going to name the place because I won't get in trouble. We need a counselor, but everyone there is like 17 or 18. I was like, how am I going to be their counselor? I'm their age. And they were like, we're going to tell them you're 20. So they were having me act before I even knew I was an actor, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And they was like, just go in there, be confident, have authority. I was like, what is this weird week about to be like? So I walk in, there's all these and they're all bigger than me. I'm not a huge dude. So 17, 18-year-old kid, I'm like, everyone listen up. Put your luggage on your bed. These are the rules of the dorm. Basically regurgitating what all my counselors said to me. And then halfway through the week, they'd be like, yo, dude, do you think it's cool if I order a pizza to the camp? I'm like, I don't think so. He's like, you can have some. I'm like, I guess, yeah. I was still a camper in a way,
Yeah.
And so it was just and then they were also trying to sneak out and do
Yeah.
things like that. And, it was kind of what do I do? A part of me wants to be a homie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
These are my homies, I feel but they don't know that. They think I'm their counselor. So that was a funny job. That had me do a lot of random stuff.
Yeah, and good practice, right?
Actually, yeah, good practice.
All right, we'll get into some fun bits here before we have to wrap up. What's your most useless talent or skill? Keep it PG.
I guess I'm skateboarded for a long time, so
Oh,
I'm pretty good at
alright.
skateboarding, and
Alright.
I can varial kickflip, and if I'm warmed up, maybe do a tray flip. But it's something that has really yet to serve me yet. You know what I mean? It really is.
Skateboard in the
Yeah,
house.
skateboarding.
yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Yeah, see some skateboarding. It just really just like hurts me, if anything, because you go out. I'm like, oh gosh, I haven't done this in a while.
I really wish someone had a skateboard on them because we'd make you
That
show
would
up.
be crazy. Boots, but.
What do you, if you were stranded on a desert island, here comes the question we've been asking everyone. If you're stranded on a desert island, what movie, TV show, and book would you take with you?
I can say this actually. Heir of the Empire.
Okay.
I would say that. I would take Heir of the Empire.
Alright.
TV show. So tough.
It's tough.
Naruto.
Alright.
All of it. Shippuden. And
Yeah, it counts. Yeah.
yeah. And then, what was the other one? Movie? Talking to me.
One movie for the rest of your life.
That's tough. You know, I think this is not. I don't know why this came to mind all of a sudden, but I think it's one of the best movies I've ever seen. There's a movie called Parasite by a director named Bong Joon-ho.
Yeah.
Won the Academy Award.
Yeah.
It's still to this day one of the best movies I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
And weirdly rewatchable.
And weirdly entertaining.
Yeah.
You're like, this is so serious, but I love this whole
It
thing.
puts you in a weird mental place,
Oh,
but yeah.
it's a psychological trip. Like whatever he accomplished in that
Yeah.
is like a special thing.
I would wonder what kind of like psychological effect it would have on you if you
For
were stuck
that
on a
man.
desert
Oh my
island.
God.
Yeah.
You're right,
Yeah.
dude. I'm setting myself up.
Yeah, that's a weird choice.
They're like, yeah, they find me after 10 years. I'm so strange.
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah.
so in parasite mode. Like,
You've built the family like out of trees.
I'm
and
doing the
coconuts.
whole thing. Yeah, just reenacting being every
Yeah.
character.
Yeah, you're one man
Oh,
show.
no, dude.
Yeah. All right, we have a couple of fun like rapid fire round games. The first one is called This or That. So it's like summer or winter. So,
Summer.
Summer. All right. Novel or comic book?
Comic book.
Okay. Bad haircut or bad dye job?
Bad haircut.
Okay. Werewolves or vampires?
Werewolves.
Play or musical?
For me to do or me to watch?
Have you ever done
me-
either?
No.
No.
like I had so much
Yeah,
experience.
yeah.
Like, well, it's a,
Yeah.
well, but yeah. So for me to do, for me to watch,
To watch.
musical,
Okay. For you to do.
play,
All right. Art museum or history museum?
art museum,
Cooking or being cooked for?
being cooked for. Amen.
Board games or video games?
Am I alone or am I with friends?
Uh,
Alone or with friends, James?
Alone. You're alone. You're alone.
Video games.
Okay. You're with friends.
Board games.
All right. Confront a goose or confront a moose? They're both scary.
Confront verbally, or are we getting into it?
No, I think you like say some mean things about their mom or something.
I feel like a moose ain't gonna say nothing back. A moose
Yeah.
is not gonna care at all. It's gonna be like, whatever, moose away, you know. Goose though, goose will talk back.
They're both scary. They're like in their own way.
I kind of want to just see a moose, so moose.
Yeah,
I've never seen a moose.
Yeah, I like it. Is it called football or soccer?
Football.
All right. And I think this is this the last one? Okay, yeah. This one is particularly fun for you because everyone else we've asked has not had the frame of reference of being a native Texan. So
Let's go Texas.
In and Out or Whataburger?
Oh. This is a setup.
Oh,
This is a setup. I know a setup when I see it.
You're from Texas, but you live in California.
My goodness. Whataburger.
Woo!
I'm gonna get a sponsorship out of that one, Whataburger.
Now, I'm going to throw you a curveball that I haven't thrown anyone else. Whataburger or Brahms?
Yeah, Whataburger. Whataburger.
I got to disagree.
I actually don't know what Brahms is, man.
What?
I was like trying to see in my memory bank, like
Brahms? Okay, Brahms, for sure, ice cream, but Brahms is so slept on in terms of their burgers and fries. Thank you. Yes. Yeah, 2 people agree with me.
Respect.
But,
Respect on Brahms' name.
for me, when it comes to Whataburger or In-N-Out, I'm In-N-Out all the way.
Whoa, why?
Yeah.
Because of the bun.
It's just fresher, it tastes better.
Respect.
Yeah.
What about the fries, though?
All the way? Yeah.
What?
I've had my like Texan Carter revoked for this.
What about the honey butter chicken biscuit, though?
Alright, okay.
Come
What?
on, dude. There's one answer, really.
We're just talking burgers here, all right?
The setup got flipped on you, dog.
Yeah.
God's on my side.
All right, we got one more game, and this is a finish the sentence.
Go for
So, for example, when I have a day all to myself, I
Sleep.
Okay. The secret to a happy life is to
Be grateful.
All right. If I could teleport, I would teleport to
France.
all right.
Paris.
I cannot stand people who
We're mean. Just like we take their pain on others. You know.
nice. Yeah.
Just
I would die without.
being able to play tennis.
Okay. Today or recently, I learned how to.
Gosh, makes me feel like I'm not doing it, you know. What am I doing with my time, you know? What did I learn to do recently? I learned a few new lines in Farsi, which is my father's language.
Okay.
But I don't want to say them because actually now I'm a little nervous about it.
I will never forget the day when blank.
When I can barely
You
say
got a
it.
call from Dave Filoni.
I'll never forget the day when I met Dave Filoni and John Favreau.
Yeah.
Yeah. That changed my life.
I can never stop smiling when.
I'm on a tennis court.
All right.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like a court of law for a second.
When I'm in court,
Whoa, man.
when I'm prosecuting,
Yeah.
I'm so happy. I'm like, well, Your Honor.
I was
The
like,
thing
where-
about that is,
Where was that in your hobbies,
Your Honor.
If I could live in another time, I would choose.
Okay. Well, like progressive stuff.
Right.
Let's we keep the progressive
Right.
trajectory we're on.
Yes.
But I get to just enjoy the
Alternate reality where
Yeah.
every era is progressive.
Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Because I don't want to go anywhere back.
No.
You know?
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
I
just
also-
getting to the place of it.
I always say Back to the Future, my favorite movie of all time.
Oh, cool.
But very different movie if Martin McFly is not a white kid.
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
If I'm Martin McFly, we're in a different movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I would do like 60s France.
All right. Oh,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool. The one thing I will never regret is.
I will never regret reintroducing acting into my life on my terms, with my new boundaries and like a new level of self-respect, and being like, I don't care who the director is or how big a project it is, that role does not speak to me, and no amount of money could make that work. So
That's a great answer.
yeah, I'll never regret coming back to it like that.
Yeah, be true to yourself. That's great. Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, two more. One time a fan gave me blank.
Oh, this bracelet just today.
Aw.
Yeah.
Is that fan here?
She.
Aw.
Where are you?
Hey, yeah.
She looks familiar to me.
Yeah.
Could you stand up for a
Yeah,
second?
please
Could you just
stand
stand up for a second?
It's so good.
Looking good.
So
Thank you for the
because
bracelet.
I think we can talk about this because we're just kind of talking about the ephemera around. But one of my favorite things is, of course, we all know the meme where like someone took a picture of Ewan as his character and framed it and put it up in their home. And
Space Jesus,
the mom thought it was. And now they've taken pictures of you and done a side by side
Yeah.
with Ewan.
Mhm.
It's so good. If you haven't
It is
seen
hilarious. Oh, I saw it. I have a lot of friends who don't watch this galaxy, and so they don't even, and we couldn't promote it, right? So they actually don't even know really the breadth of my involvement in any way. But then they're like, hey, I just got this sent to me. Is this you? This is you, right?
Are you like Jesus?
Yeah. They're like, dude, what is that? You know, like beard and hair and the robes, and they're like, dude, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And they're like, is this that thing you mentioned like a long time ago that you might do? I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the thing, but like I can't say anything about it.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is cool. You're Jesus now. Or you're Moses. Like, you're Moses now.
Yeah.
So fun.
All right, last one. Last time I got starstruck, it was with.
Ewan McGregor.
There we go. Yeah.
I did not know
Perfect
what
answer.
happened. He was just in the I'm like, hello, hello, hello to everyone I see. I'm just like, what the? You were my brother. You know?
It's the coolest.
I was just like, and I watched so many TikTok edits of those scenes.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my God, he's right here. Damn, I didn't know I had that.
Yeah.
I didn't know I've never had that.
Yeah.
So I was like, dang, I guess I just am like a fan. I'm a big fan of this guy. So that's just like,
I felt that way with him, and I felt that way with Hayden too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I just didn't see as much of Hayden growing up.
Right.
Again, this like world
Right.
didn't hit me as a kid.
Yeah.
But him, Ewan is sort of
Totally.
he's across the board, been in a lot of things. So seeing him was surreal. I was like, oh, it's the guy who I've seen kill it so many times.
Yeah.
And so like as an actor, I'm
Right.
like, whoa,
Yeah.
you're like another level.
Yeah.
Or the level that I wanna,
Well, now that, since we are at a convention, we'll take the opportunity to ask you this, since now you're not only in this world, in this fandom, in the franchise, but be able to, being able to be a part of, not only something on the level of like a Star Wars celebration, but to come to these and connect with fans and see people cosplaying as your character and to see, Chopper rebuilt to the smallest detail and see the 501st and see all these guys. What is that like? What's that been like for you to now be kind of thrown into this whole world?
It's an honor, first of all, and so I'm very grateful, and thank you all for being so kind and welcoming me into this universe and this family. And it feels like being home.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah.
It feels like, I'm like, oh, these are my people.
Yeah.
This is my world. Like, this is the stuff that I love.
Yeah.
And I finally have like access to a community of people who celebrate it
Absolutely.
just as much and more than I ever have.
Totally.
It's like, oh, like there's like a freedom to it in some ways. You don't even realize that you grow up pushing certain things about yourself down sometimes until it's shown to you in someone else who isn't pushing it down.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's right. That's what it is to be free in what you love and just like express yourself and the amount of gratitude or appreciation you have for a character or a show or a role. And so it feels freeing. It feels like this like new level of like expansion. I'm like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Let's scream about these things. Well, let's celebrate these things. Let's cheer at the theater about these things,
Well, you've had the extra experience of like, you're coming in and not a lot of other actors in that world or that galaxy have had the extra kind of added thing of like you're coming into a character that's already established and beloved in a different medium, and to get to embody that in a live action way, it's just been so cool to see the embrace of the fandom around that. So we're so glad you're here with us.
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you all so much.
And we've got a special surprise. Some of my best friends here from our North Texas 501st Garrison, including someone we all really know and love well, Chopper. Give it up for Chopper and our 501st. I'm gonna hand it over to our friends here in the Rebel Legion and let you take it away.
Thank you for having me here.
Here, you guys come. Come over. Come on, Chopper.
Oh my gosh, the voice too?
Yes.
What's up, man? What's up, man?
For your contribution in the Star Wars universe, for your role as Ezra Bridger in the Disney Plus Ahsoka series, the Kessel Base wishes to induct you as an honorary member of the Rebel Legion. We have this really cool plaque to give to you.
So much, thank you.
As well as a bunch of really awesome swag. Including a badge with your name.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Wow. Come on now, Texas Jedi Temple Base. Come on now. Didn't even know we had one of these. Sheesh. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Thank you. Amazing. Wow. You all are very generous. Thank you so much.
Give it up again.
My highest honor.
Give it up for our friends in the Rebel Legion, the Droid Builders Club, and the 501st Garrison. These guys,
Thank you all so much
Yeah.
for coming. Come say
Yeah.
hi if you can after. I really appreciate it. And a big round for James, please, everybody.
Thank you. I would say, don't let this go to your head. It's like you can't flash this badge around.
Yes, I can. They gave it to me to flash. I'm going to show this with pride and
But
honor.
it's like it doesn't allow you to do official court of law stuff, is what I'm saying. You
We'll
can't-
see. We'll see.
All right, one more round of applause for
Thank
Eman.
you.
And please stop by these guys. But they, it's to see this level of Star Wars fandom, and they come together and not only create these characters that come off screen and we get to interact with them, in real life, which is a dream come true. But they use it for good, and it's just the coolest thing to see. So stop by and say hi. Check out their. You're on level 3, right, guys? On level 3, and Texas, keep it going for our own. Texas boy, Eman Esfandi. All right, one more time, Dallas Fan Festival. And the day is still young. Enjoy the rest of your day. We got a lot of a con left to experience, and you'll be back at your table for the rest of the day. Yeah, so stop by and say hi, and enjoy the rest of your con.